I wanted to do a video this morning, and I had been thinking about this a lot when I did my glove and tab video, and some guys were talking about how they shot 3 under and split. Well, I've shot both a lot, and I wanted to discuss the differences between 3 under, shooting 3 under, and split. My opinion, for me, I do know that, I'll go ahead and say this, in my opinion, shooting 3 under with a tab is the most accurate way for me to shoot. I've had strep throat right here. That's talk about it and start coughing. But this last 4 or 5 weeks have been sickly weeks around the house. I'm looking forward to better days. And but anyway, I believe shooting 3 under and with a tab is give you the cleanest release. The air is closer to your eye, and for me, it's much more accurate. I enjoy shooting split finger simply because that's how I learned, and I thought that's how you're supposed to do it. And you can do it that way and do it pretty doggone good. And the majority of my animals through my whole bow hunting career, 90% of them were killed shooting split finger, because the 3 under thing is relatively new to me. But I started shooting 3 under simply because, as I've said, a good friend, Chris Spikes, we started hunting together, and I had met him, and he shot that way, and he's the best shot I ever seen in real life. And I was shooting good. I was shooting really good. I could shoot pretty strong. I won 3D tournaments shooting split finger, and I didn't change because of anything bad. I started shooting 3 under because I wanted to get better, be more consistent, and worked really good for me. I could shoot 30-yard groups like this. Really, like this, 30 yards with a hunting bow, with a hunting longbow. And then target panic jumped on me, and my shooting fell off, and I jumped from here to there. If some of you guys have been there, when your shooting sucks and you go from here to there to try to fix it, and it's really all in your head. And so I went back to shooting split finger, and simply because there was I just come back and hit anchor and let her eat. And even if I didn't hit an anchor, I was close enough to my animals that I was killing them anyway and making good shots. And so I've sort of overcome the target panic. Now I can draw the bow, and I got to this is all sort of new right here. Just the last month or so, my hunting opportunities have been pretty slim. I've not been able to hunt nothing like I used to, and I realize that as you get older and the bills all get about paid, you think you have more and more time to do stuff. In reality, you probably don't. You have things happen, things you need to go do, and just sometimes you just can't go hunting. So with my limited time hunting, like always, if I get a shot opportunity, I really want to capitalize on it. I missed a hog, only one I've shot at this year, and my bottom bow limb hit. I went back and looking at the video. My bottom bow limb hit a bush. I saw the bush shake when I shot, and it threw my arrow down low. So the wind's picking up. I hope it ain't messing up the camera here. But anyway, so I said I'm gonna test this out. So I got out here, and the first three days I shot split finger. My first shot of the day, 15 yards, no warming up or nothing. You come out there and shoot, and I would have killed the animal every time, but I didn't feel the control, and I was missing left and right a little bit, but I've still been in lunge. So then I come out the next 3 days shooting 3 under, and I had a little piece of paper about that big, little small piece tore off, stuck in the bank there. I hit it all 3 times and felt more confident. All right, the dump truck's about gone. Had me messed up right there, and we're getting attacked. Where you been? Psycho dog. And where was I? Oh, anyway, I shot my three shots 3 under, and they were perfect. I felt more control and more confidence. And then, as I would shoot after those, I just shot better shooting 3 under. But I tend to enjoy shooting split finger better, and I can't really explain it. But the accuracy does not compare to shooting 3 under. And so as I run this through my head here, I'm not okay with wounding animals, and I'm really not okay with passing shots I know that I should make. So I'm probably going to shoot the tab and shoot 300 going forward. And you die-hard split finger guys, I mean, it works for you. Don't change. I'm just saying, I know I flip-flop back and two a lot, and I wanted to clear the whys of that up. I got the strep throat, and I came out here, was going to shoot my longbow, and I couldn't draw it back. I mean, I couldn't. It was like shooting a bow. I mean, I could draw it back, but I couldn't shoot it accurate. So I broke my bear out right here. It's 43 pounds at my draw length, 580 grain arrow. I come out here, I ain't shot this bow in forever. I shot it last night 2 times in the light out there just to get the feel of it, see if I could shoot it. So I come out here today when it warmed up, shot it in my paper towel 15 yards and pushed it in the ground. And I've shot like beautiful groups with this bow. So anyway, I think the heavy riser has a lot to do to it. But the difference in split and 300 for you guys that are beginners, 300 in my opinion is the quickest way to learn. If you learn to gap shoot 300 because it's a more forgiving release. I've even heard Rick Welch say that on his videos, ever how many time world champion. And when somebody can shoot like he does says something, you listen. But he said it's a more forgiving release, and I find that myself. It's got to be you're pinching the arrow the other way, and 300 here. And I know for me it seemed my bow was louder shooting 300. It's like some bows I would shoot seem like they fight it. I can't explain that, but some of you guys know what I'm talking about. And it seemed louder to me. And then I realized that it was my releases. I mean, the bow may be a little louder, but I realized that I was hitting anchor. When I shot split, I come back and shot so fast I was pulling through the shot, and that quietens your bow. Even if I didn't move my hand, I still had plenty of tension on it. And when I shot 300, I was trying to be an aimer, and I would hit and hold and probably lose my back tension, and that made everything loud. So I've really begun to focus on drawing the bow, and I can actually hit anchor. I hit anchor for that second, but I make sure that elbow keeps pulling. And here's your back tension right here. I've heard Clay Hayes say it best, pretend somebody's pushing on that arm, and when you hit anchor and stop and slowly do that, and then the shot goes off, it's gonna be your left and right will be better, your release will be quieter, and it'll be consistent. So there you have it. Shooting split finger is really good, especially for those instinctive shooters. If you're more of a longer range type guy and you're a gap shooter, it gives you like at my point on with this bow, I just shot at 30 yards a while ago, and there again I was shooting back to the old Robert of super good groups. And my point on is 30 yards. I mean, I draw the bow back, hit anchor, and have my point on what I want to hit. When I hit anchor, and I'm trying to make myself hold that second, and they were 10 rings on every one. And awful busy today on my road right here. I'm a long ways from the road. But shooting split finger if I shot split finger, my point on would be 40 yards. And so I wanted to discuss the 300 and the split and basic ethics, I guess. Nothing makes up for being close. But if you guys are trying, if you're shooting split finger and you give 300 a try, make sure you keep your back tension. If you hit anchor, make sure all that happens. And it'll close your gaps if you're a gap shooter. And even if you're not a gap shooter, it gets the arrow closer to you, and you see it in your peripheral vision. And it'll help you line up better. And don't be afraid to try something new. And if you're satisfied with how you're shooting, don't change nothing. And I feel like if I hadn't changed to shooting 300, kept shooting split, I'd be just fine. But just knowing that I'm more accurate shooting 300 makes me want to keep doing it. And there you have it. I appreciate you guys watching my videos and the comments. I got a few tips for you guys along the way on how I beat the target panic. And I'm still not 100%, but I am between night and day of what I was this time last year. There are a couple of things that I had to change when I started shooting 300. Number one, I put of course I've had it on there, I put a double knock set here. I tie mine on with dental floss. And I read somewhere that said that your arrow shooting 300 may come down when it goes off the bow. And I don't know that I've ever had that happen, but I put that on there to keep it from happening. A guy I followed that's a really good shot had that info, so you know I like what he says. And also I did that anyway, right towards the end of me shooting split finger. I'm talking about years ago when I first changed, because I was in the stand one time, had my bow in my lap, and somehow I had bumped my arrow and it had slid down like that. Well, a deer comes in, I just grabbed my arrow and come up and shoot, and I shot a foot over his back. And it dawned on me what happened, because it almost happened to me another time. And I realized I saw it, because it was one of those 10-yard misses when you say, what in the crap happened? So anyway, put you a double knock set on there. If you guys, a lot of guys will shoot that fixed crawl and they'll come down and I've tried that, I just don't like it. And the bow does seem to act a fool when I do that as far as being loud. But I'd put the double knock set on there. And that's really about the only difference. I would get a good, you need a good tab. Mark Harrison builds some good ones, but you need a good tab. And I have the ones that don't have I got one that doesn't have the little notch on there, but you don't think you got to go buy one for just shooting 3 under. If you have a split finger tab, this thing works just fine. It works fine. But one thing that I had to do when I first changed years ago is I'd been practicing shooting 3 under a lot, and I had a tab like this with the grip cut in it. And I actually killed some deer and realized that I shot split finger. So I had to get a tab that didn't have the gap. So I would make sure that I didn't grab. I mean, I wasn't gap shooting then. I was just shooting. Well, I was doing point of aim, I guess you would call it. But deer were close, and I killed them anyway, so it worked out. So, but anyway, good tab or glove. A lot of people use a glove, and some guys tell me they use a glove for the simple reason it makes their bow quieter, shooting 3 under. Again, Rick Welch, he shoots a glove, and he's a killer. But I don't. If you want to judge accuracy, watch some of the 3D shoots on YouTube. Some of the I'm not talking about Olympic shooters now. I'm talking about the guys shooting barebow, like in Lancaster and some of the IBO stuff. Dwayne Martin, those guys, they shoot 3 under for a reason, and it's a very accurate way to shoot. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on 3 under and split. Both are really good. Both work good. I'm not putting one above the other, but I am telling you, for me, I enjoy shooting split finger a little more, I believe, simply because it's old school type stuff. But the reality of it is, I'm more accurate shooting 3 under, and I gotta do what confidence tells me to do, and I still enjoy it. It ain't like I hate to do it, but I gotta do what confidence tells me to do, and make the ethical shots, good shots, at 15 yards or less. I'm still, no matter how I'm shooting, I'm not gonna shoot long shots. I mean, I would shoot a deer out to 20 yards or a hog with all conditions right, because there again, I can shoot groups like that at 20 yards. But man, if you're pig hunting and you can get 5 more yards on him, why not shoot him at 15? And deer hunting, if he's feeding around on the feed tree and he's 20 yards, if you give him time, he's probably going to come to 15. It's the same thing with him quartering to you. I don't get why people shoot 1/4 shots, because one step one way or the other and he's sideways. I don't get it. But there you have it. That's my thoughts on 3 under and split. Shoot what you like, shoot what gives you confidence, but don't be bullheaded. And you guys shooting split finger, don't let peer pressure stop you from shooting 3 under if it works best for you. Back in the day, especially in my early years bow hunting, if you shot 3 under, they looked at you like you were a leper, because I was one of the guys doing the looking. And that was when, I still don't know why that is. I mean, Pope and Young shot 3 under. The Witchery of Archery, those guys, Thompson guys, they shot 3 under. Howard Hill was an aimer. He shot split finger, but he was an aimer, and people thought you were aiming at the 3D shoots back in the day. They looked down on you. Don't let peer pressure keep you from shooting the way you want to and doing what you enjoy. Y'all keep the good Lord first. Say a prayer for me while I quit this coughing mess. I'm ready to go hunting. And see y'all on the next video.